Hello and welcome to episode 45 of our Timberborn Update 6 Waterbeavers playthrough, cycle 49, day 14. A little over 2 days left until we have a bad tide enter the colony here. And last episode we did a whole bunch of small fixes, talked about expanding our technology stuff as soon as, you know, the Master's Metallurgy is finished researching, which it's at 8%. And currently with 9 beavers working on it, it will take probably about another 8 days. So we have a space here that has been dedicated for it. We have these power shafts all connected, ready to go, so we can just slide that building in where it needs to be once all of the dynamite is made. And we also had a discussion about putting in terrain blocks over here and then using levees, keep things all separated. Well, I was then reminded by some folks in the comments that if I did it that way, it would hold water here, but it would then immediately contaminate all of the land because this is where the bad water would come out to the side. So if we want to use this for the purposes of keeping things clean, we will need to have terrain blocks all the way across and then levees on the other side of that. So it's quite a ways off still, but it's not impossible. It's just going to take a little bit longer. We also installed the Simple Floodgate Triggers mod, which has been a very, very good thing for us because now these are automatically set to increase to maximum height when a bad tide starts. But I forgot and was reminded by you guys that I should also set this one specifically to go to maximum height when a drought starts so that we don't lose all of our water immediately. And this one here also can have the same treatment, but I already had that taken care of. So we're all good to go. Lots and lots and lots of great comments to sort through from the last video, so I appreciate all of you guys making those. And we're going to take some direct action on a few of those things today. First, and the easiest one we can do is we can build a news board in both of these other districts that will enable us to take full advantage. There's no way that should work. Well, it's going to let me do it, so I'm going to do it. Take full advantage of the buff that these give, just in a very simple fashion. If I can find a place, there we go, just to pop these so that all the beavers will have an area of effect reasonably. All the beavers in this district lived here. This will also cover those working in the ENS, and then of course this one here has significant overlap with all of this stuff. And I think we are looking pretty okay. Actually, wait, hold on. No, that's just this one because I took this one out from the middle. I need to put one back in. See, this is what happens when you're not thinking completely clearly. I need to find a place for this. There's other stuff we have to get to. Let's go and set this dynamite off. Boom. And the reason for doing that was I wanted to put in some pit warehouses and pit piles for the things these cooking tents and the cooking house will use, including bramble flowers, cabbages, mushrooms, and logs, and then this one for the mountain salt. So the piles, pit piles, will need to exist here. And let's see, bramble flowers will be a warehouse. Water we already have right there. So I will make this one for the salt. And then we'll also need to have one, theoretically, for some logs, but that's probably not that big of a deal. Instead, we can have that be... You know what? Let's not make that a pit pile. Let's make this a pit warehouse for bramble flowers, because that is a very important thing, and if we have extra space, then that's what we can end up using. Cabbages and then mushrooms was the last one. I think that's just going to be the best way to do it. Maybe there's a better way, but so far, it's not going to be the case. And I received a very good comment from the mod creator himself that suggested we connect this to this, which would be very good, very efficient for getting water in and out of here. So in the spirit of that, I think we are going to take full advantage. Now, how did I do this? How did this flood? Let's think about what happened here. Because this was already dry. So me blasting this out shouldn't have been the issue. Oh, you know what I did? Well, first of all, I killed all these sunflowers. I'm not going to be able to drain this fast enough. So that's really annoying. I must have accidentally blasted this piece. That is so demoralizing. Alright, well... I can kind of fix it by putting this levee in place, but that's a long-term fix, not a short-term one. All of these crops are going to die. How much food do we have? We have 1,600 rice balls. We got 2,500. Okay, it's the beavers are going to be okay. It's just, man, that is demoralizing. that is very demoralizing. That is yeah, words I will choose not to use on videos that I try to make family friendly. We'll just go with that. At any rate, what we're going to have to do here before I hit unpause, to connect these bridges, blast these two pieces out, and then instead of being a 6x1 here and instead of being a 6x1 here, these will end up being 5x1s. Recover some of those pieces. Just go ahead and research this right now. This is still, you know, a bridge that requires the 2 blocks here. But that will instead connect to this space right here. And then because of the way we can build our bridges, I can then place a 4x1 in this spot and then something like that right here, which actually, let's check that right now. This will end up being a 4 and a 3, which will be fine. And I also did see the comments from you guys saying that these platforms need to be actually built because they're supporting the tank, and I agree. I'm actually kind of surprised they were able to finish this without these platforms here, but that's the way she goes. And we will, of course, have to take... Man, I'm so mad about this. It is what it is. We got to move on. So, hooray, wet fur bonus. Yay. Alright. And I was asked in the comments of the last video what this no good selected is for, and that is this scroll display that I neglected to actually assign to anything. And we do have a couple things on the ground here. We have Balloon Trader landing pad blueprints and Floodgate Dam blueprints that are supposed to be fancified. And I currently have this completely full anyway, so let's do Balloon Trader landing pad blueprints just so I can fancify those. I'm not duplicating them by any means. This can also be paused easily. And then, let's see. I probably don't need to have any storage for the unfancified blueprints. We can fix those. Turn them into the fancy ones. Oversized water pump blueprints also probably don't need any more of those, but, you know, at this point we have so many, who cares? It's not really that big of a problem. So thankfully they are working on getting this levee situation sorted. We do have plenty of pine resin, they just have to bring it over. And I get to, I guess, be an idiot again in a video. So, enjoy that. I would say it doesn't happen all the time, but it kind of does. So, moving on. This area is going to be contaminated once again, just because we have a bad tide coming through. But it is my hope that we will be able to, before the next bad tide, have some sort of something taken care of to address this. And we have a day and a half. This is still basically halfway done. This has absolutely no dirt. I'm going to pause construction on these 2 terrain blocks for now because I don't want these beavers walking around unnecessarily. And they shouldn't have a reason to come down here and grab all this. There's no storage space available for any of these items. But it's possible that they do end up coming in here to grab it, and, well, contaminated beavers automatically get sent to the main district where we have jails waiting for them, and at some point we'll have to have the beaver washing machine, which we do have the materials for, just needs to be powered. So that was one of those things in a long-term... Man, I'm so mad about this. At a long-term thing, then we were going to be able to, you know, build one of those and have it be totally fine. And then maybe, like, the biggest blunder I made last episode, besides, you know, having this not be correct. I said we're going to remove the blockages and put dirt in. I keep forgetting that this is not update 7, and you can't put dirt on top of nothing. or non-dirt items. So what's going to happen instead, not during the bad tide, because obviously this is going to be poisoned water here, this mechanic sludge is going to have to come out and be replaced with a flat top building that we can then double stack, and on top of that, place a large water wheel. Fortunately, we're producing more power than we're consuming, so things are looking pretty good there, and we have plenty of other stuff that will command our attention, and hopefully not cause tremendous issues. Remember that all of these have been successfully automated for bad tide start, but not bad tide end. So we don't have to panic about having, you know, all of this taken care of before the bad tide starts. The only thing that could possibly be a problem is because this is used for overflow redirection, there might be a little bit of a lag in terms of things not coming out here. Instead of shutting off flow to a specific place that we want it to go, we're instead shutting off flow to a place where we don't want the good stuff to go. I hope that makes sense. So if I were to immediately lower this down to 0, see how this still keeps flowing here for a little bit of time? I'm concerned that when the bad tide starts, yeah, see, this is still like a third of a day. It's still flowing through here. I'm concerned that this being automatically lowered when the bad tide starts is going to cause some problems. So I may still manually activate this one, but this is good insurance to make sure it doesn't get horribly, awfully, terribly, irredeemably bad without me noticing. So we'll put this, I guess. Okay, well there's one now, and I'm gonna put this back up. Let's actually put it down to 1, because then that will have it kind of split. And then if it goes down from 1, then it'll be a lot faster, because there's not that much going through here. Well, let's try that. I'm not afraid to have a little tiny bit of bad water in here. It's not going to kill everything until it gets to a certain concentration anyway. But if this was pumping out bad water still for like half a day, it absolutely would kill some stuff. So, good to talk about that. And I am just... I gotta, you know, not talk about it, or it's just going to get worse. Let's detonate here. And let's start the process of building all of this fun stuff. So, this 6x1 now can instead be turned into something else. This doesn't have to be built. Neither does this. That has a path on it. Okay. Take that out. Take that out. What we need to instead focus on is getting this linked to this and then to this. We've already kind of talked about how that's going to happen. Making this into a tall platform is not quite enough. It does need to have something else on top of it. And there also does need to be a ladder with which to access everything. So that is probably going to have to be to one side of this. But we won't need it when everything's all said and done. We just need it to build. So if I put this here, and then I put this here, this will then allow me to put the 5x1. Oh, of course I'm going to need something else here. Let's just do that. Put the 5x1 here. And then, remember this has the double, so I can't do anything with that. But the 4x1 would work here. And yes, this would allow me to transit where I need to go. This is also one block higher than this thing right here. So this is going to be a good opportunity for us to make use of tall platform here, here, and here, and then here with a staircase. I know this is maybe a little bit suboptimal, but it will be fine. We don't need to, you know, be super worried about it. This would actually allow us, I believe... Oh, not quite. Not quite. So, 2 and a 3 or a 4 and a 1, but I guess we will just go with maybe a 3 here and a 2 here. So that'll allow us to get connected here to here and then eventually to here and then remove all of this nonsense. I don't think there's any other way for the water to get through here, and I would like to pump this out if at all possible. So, since these crops are dead, which, I know, shame upon me and my family, so on and so forth, let's just, you know, make the best out of a semi-stupid situation and just put in a couple of water pumps. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is literally just to, you know, make use of what we have available to us and let these guys pump everything out. Which, you know, it'll be nice to have water kept up during droughts. Just... it's aggravating. Well, this will get built. I was surprised they were... Oh, no, of course they'd be able to build this. They can build that, and then they can walk across and build this, and then build this, and then everything is going to be just peachy. Alright. You know what? I can live with this. I can live with that. I think that's going to be fine. So since this no longer has to exist, that can go away, that can go away, that can go away. We don't need a ladder at all, and I am not usually happy to be proven wrong, but in this case, I think I can live with that. So putting this here, not going to be necessary. I can just do a 4x1 and then a 4x1. Look at that. That's going to get this connected here, and that is really going to improve mobility. It's going to be tremendously helpful, and I think that is going to make up quite nicely for some of the stupidity of things that have gone awry. So where are we standing on water? Like I said, we got tons. We have 18,000 between, you know, the pumps and the storage. 418 beavers. Should be more or less enough, but storage does still need to be increased, and a number of you wanted to see an additional tank over here. The reason I don't want to put one here is because this is very close to the tree nursery, and we should be making use of its benefits for various types of crops that only it can grow. But that doesn't mean we can't put another tank somewhere, and we could even move this one if we wanted. I have this space here that I can continue demolishing. I just had rerouted the dynamite to other places and seen that. Now, I'm so curious about how quickly this is going to go. I want so badly to move this down from 1.0 right now, but I think I'm gonna trust the automation for this one specific time, and then we're gonna watch this go all the way down to 0, which it did. And there was a tiny bit of red that came through here, it looks like. But you know what? I think that's gonna be fine. I don't think we're gonna need to worry. So this is now poison. That's up. This is poison. This is up. They're not coming through here. Still generating power. Yeah, I think this, for all intents and purposes, is fine. And it's only a 4-day bad tide, too. We are going to lose some lotuses, but, you know, things are going to be fine. We'll just have to keep regrowing them and make as much progress as we can on this. So, like I said, some stupid stuff occurred, but that's the way she goes. And look at this. This is just about finished as well. Just needs one more log. And then we'll have very good access between these things, and we'll be able to save a little bit of space. I love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Look at that. Really, really, really good stuff. Let's unpause this ladder. Let them get the rest of this built, and then we can eventually get rid of the rest of this nonsense. Alright, so we did pick up... No, we didn't. Why can they not... Oh, it's because there's no... Alright. So I guess I was wrong. Balloon Trader landing pad, fancy blueprints now have to go in here, which are... Where? This one. So that'll get picked up off the ground because it has a place to go. And because we're fancifying and not duplicating, then we should never see that again after it comes out of here and goes into this mess. And there it is. As soon as they wake up in the morning, they'll be working on that. This is no longer here, so then that can go to Floodgate Dam blueprints instead. These are probably alphabetical. Yep, there we go. I don't know why I always ask, like I've never seen this my first day on Earth. Anyway. Okay, what do we have nothing to do in range? Okay, that's not the right one. That's a farmer's upgrade, farmer's upgrade. Okay, we don't need to worry about those. Unwell beavers, yeah, well that's what happens when you go in the poison. That was a choice that you made. Or I commanded you to do, but we're not going to think too hard about that. All things considered, I think this is fine. The minor burns at 8 for the population we have is honestly pretty good. We're just not quite able to supply everything to make enough basic balm to run all of these all the time. It's just the way it goes. So now I think I have a pathway to hook up here. Yeah. Okay. So now this is all connected. And it's going to do that back and forth thing because of how these are set up for quite some time. I guess having this completely pumped dry is not going to be a bad thing, but I'm tired of listening with my eyes. I'm tired of seeing that go back and forth, so I'm just going to pause it. There we go. So they will pump the water out of here. These things will be replanted. That's just the way it goes. No real reason to be super mad about it. I saved for like the 18th time, so clearly it has actually made me irritated. But I'm very interested to see progress here. 45%. Good. So that means we probably should focus on getting this set up ready to go. And see, these are triples, so that means that's going to come down to here. And this is going to be single height. That should be the correct height. But if it's not, we can adjust. Kind of hard for me to remember, to be perfectly honest with you, but I guess things will be okay. They just have a little bit left to do here. And we do have the dynamite. They just have to go get it. And we lost all of these lotuses. Yeah, see, this is exactly why I wanted to do this in the first place. What we can do as soon as this bad tide is over is, obviously, I'm not going to have terrain blocks go all the way across the whole... That would take like 8 cycles to build. We'll just put dams. The primitive dams, the 3 wide, are really not that expensive, all things considered. The metal fasteners, of course, take a while, but when we have this much scrap metal and we're about to be making a whole lot more, it's going to get just so much easier. This is supposed to be making them, but again, the scrap metal does just take time. All sorts of stuff to be pretty happy with, but we will have to leave that alone and come back. Just see how things are progressing here. Storage is actually not full. I thought it might be. But these guys will just keep on keeping on. They did build this one tall platform. They still can't build this, and I don't know how to get them down here. Oh no, I know exactly how to get them down here. All I have to do is abuse the suspension bridge mechanic, and yeah, that'll take care of it. And this is waiting on a clay pot. I thought I had extra clay pots, but maybe they're just on the ground, and I don't have a storage. Aha! Alright, so it looks like we need a glorious storage for the clay pot. I need to figure out where that can go. And I guess it doesn't really matter where it goes. Oh, no way. Can they actually access this? Well, we're just going to, you know, let it be what it's going to be. If they will be able to work with that, that's going to be a tremendously, tremendously helpful thing. Ah, yes. My favorite song. Not connected by... I have a lot of favorite songs that I don't actually enjoy. Yeah. That's not... There we go. We'll just let that be what it's going to be. Alright, so we've picked up all of those things. That has been fancified. What was the blueprint that was down here? Oversized water pump. There we go. We'll just make the rest of these and then figure out what kind of blueprint actually has to go in there. Because I can't, unfortunately, tell just by looking at this. I have to click on each one. ENS fancy. Both of those there. Large farmhouse, beaver washing machine. We really need to build one of those. Floodgate dam, mechanical drill, oversized water pump, balloon trader, large water wheel. I don't know if there's another fancy one that we have that I don't have storage for. I guess I could have just checked this also. That's not fancy. I also don't have storage for it. I have storage for that. I don't have storage for the super fertilizing irrigation tower bath. I have 22 of those that have not been fancified. Okay, well I guess that's what's going to go there. That's just an easy easy thing to do. So that actually still has floodgate dam blueprints in it. I thought they had I thought they'd taken care of that. Well, maybe I was wrong. Alright, well, I guess we will we'll just have them take care of that real quick. Got less than 1 day until the bad tide is over, which means about a day and a half until we can get back to working on our little diversionary things over there. I think that's going to be a big, big help when we're able to get that taken care of. But it will, of course, just take time. Alright, so that's their oversized water pump blueprint. Now, as soon as I do that, So maybe that's why they hadn't done it, because they didn't have a space for it. I have the fancy blueprint storage for that. Oh, no, okay, I guess they'll just pick it up off the ground as soon as they make the rest of these. Yeah, they're managing to get it finished. But if this number only goes down to 0 and doesn't go back up, then we'll know we have to build a storage for it. Of course, this takes way longer when you're actually looking at it, right? Alright. Are they going to grab this from the ground? The answer is probably no, but at this point, I can't be sure. Yeah, no storage space. Alright, fine. Fine, I'll just build another one. So that is oversized, just regular. So they can just grab that off the ground as soon as that's built. Not like we're duplicating them right now or anything. Still pumping here. That's fine. This is already... it's already completely dry. Oh, boy. This can also... maybe should be blasted out. Or maybe not, because this helps irrigate. Pay no attention to this helping irrigate. 71%. How are we looking on our dynamite? Oh, good. There's not that much left. And cycle 50 begins. Very, very good. We will have to, of course, manually change these over, like I said. This is getting to be pretty clean. This here is already clean. I keep forgetting about the hitbox on that. So, down we go. Backfill that thing. Get that brought all the way back up. So I think having it at 1 before a bad tide is a completely viable option to not have to worry about it. But I do want it at 2 right now. Maybe I can get it to... Is 1.5 still going to leak some? Long term? No. Maybe. Okay, that definitely is leaking. We'll just go up to 2. Alright. So I only have these. I do have the dynamite. They just have to be able to do it. But perhaps of greater significance than that, long term, is using all of this dirt. So, I'm going to unpause here. This one at the very least, because it is technically majority built. Let them take care of that. But that is deprioritized, so I will get that taken care of there. Get that taken care of there. And we can move on. But these are all at the same height, so I can definitely set them off with absolutely nothing bad happening. And that will give us a little bit better of an idea of how we're going to have our thing popped in place. So, high temperature foundry, for those of you playing along at home, will fit very nicely in this exact place just as soon as all of its stuff is blasted out, and the doorway just goes right there. No problems. We just have to wait. And that should line up more or less perfectly. So they'll take care of all that in due time. Like we've said, I have not exploded this because I had thought about maybe putting something else here. Food did take a pretty big hit because, well, you know, this was all flooded and is still kind of flooded and will be flooded until this continues pumping out. But we had enough stored where it wasn't really that big of a deal. It is going to take about half a cycle once this is completely dried out for us to, you know, regrow all of the cabbages that are in here, and maybe 2/3 of a cycle to regrow all the sunflowers. But it could have been a whole lot worse. We've got to try to keep some sort of positive spin on things, I suppose. Alright, so this no longer needs to be operating. We can just pause that, shuffle the beavers into other things that will make a lot more sense. And, yeah. Looks like we have an extra clay pot that was on the ground. And this is, in theory, making rice balls. This is, in theory, making braised cabbage. This is not in theory, in actuality, storing braised cabbage. And this is making spicy sodas. So, you know, things are progressing pretty nicely. Maybe not perfectly, but what else could you possibly expect? Well-being is an average of 22. This district is at 21. And, oh, I forgot about lowering this back down. Well, thankfully, chestnuts are very resilient. We knew this, so we don't have to really be that worried about it. Okay, this levee being in place now... Well, rather, this levee being in place is going to allow me to remove this levee and then put a piece of terrain in place. And the reason I'm doing that, I remember somebody asking, is if I put a piece of terrain here, then I can put another levee in this spot attached to it, and that will effectively repel a lot of our contamination. Obviously, all of it being gone is going to require coming up here and removing some natural overhangs, so it just falls way down. That's going to be a task for the next drought, if I remember. But for now, we can take that out. It is going to increase the pollution just a touch. But this should not be that big of a deal to put terrain in here, because it is accessible from 2 districts at the same time. And this district does not have dirt storage, so I guess that's not really that much of a benefit. But nevertheless, it's an option that we can employ to make things just a tiny bit better. And then coming back over here, it looks like all of these are in place. And now I want to check 91%. Cool, so we actually did get it ahead of time. Now let's unlock our high temperature foundry and place it in here. Remember that the little thing right there, I can't really move the mouse because of how this is set up, but that's going to go here, and they can start building it. Perfectly aligned. Some parts work as a levee, but not all of them. Anyway, they're going to have to bring a whole lot of stuff in here, and I really wanted this to be completed ahead of the blueprint being done, or at least substantially supplied ahead of the blueprint being done, just to save some time. But that's a huge, huge, huge victory for us, having this in place even right now, 30 minutes into the episode. 95%. As soon as this is done, we can turn this over to something else. Maybe not the best idea to have a Masters in Metallurgy come out again after the first one, but we do have the ability to research some other really important stuff, like robotics and nuclear physics. But nuclear physics is going to have to wait until after we have our nuclear material, which requires an abyss, which requires XYZ, or XYZ, I suppose, for the British English speakers among you. Pilot's licenses for the balloons is always, or not the balloons, the airships rather, can be a nice thing to have. We already talked about agronomy. And then clockwork robotics controllers, we technically have the technology to make right now. And maybe that's something we should explore, because that is part of the clockwork hydroponic farms, and a lot of our problems would be very, very, very much helped by having access to at least one of these. And there's a bunch of different recipes. We can do cabbages, sunflowers, green peas, rice, lotuses, and ever blossoms. And I think among these, probably the most important one is going to be sunflowers, because they take such a long time to grow. And it is 2000 science, which we don't currently have. But all we'd have to do is make some robotic parts and have this thing. And the robotics factory, assembly line, I believe, yes. This one would require 800 science, but we can make robot parts using stuff we already have. We don't have a ton of stuff for it, but it wouldn't be that big of a deal for us to make robot parts by the end of this episode. But we need to, after this is finished, which it has been, set this back to science points and let these guys get back to work making a whole bunch of science as fast as they can. And this is still not pumped out. But now, you know, evaporation's on our side as well. And this will be able to take advantage of all of that. These things are all dead also because, obviously, we're working on it. How are we doing here? Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. Obviously, this is a ton of stuff that has to go in here. You already know what the other half of that sentence is. 718 dirt. I do have 1,000 dirt. And most of it is in this district, so I guess that is fine. Let's come over here. See what kind of progress they're making on this. Wow, okay, this is actually kind of fast. I was very surprised to see that. We can leave that alone for the time being. A reminder that this mess right here we can't really do anything with until we have another drought, which could be the end of this cycle. Might not be. Let's check how many sky exploration points we have. 99. I do want to get a lot of these before I switch that balloon out to something else. because we do need to be able to unlock everything else. And then eventually, long way away, getting the airship unlocked and all that stuff. Wait, actually, it doesn't consume the. Why am I so worried about this? Because I already have enough. That's 20, that's 15, that's 15, that's 15. I already have enough to unlock all these. I just don't have enough to have multiples of everything. Yeah, okay, we won't need the Folktales balloon to get sunflower seeds once we have the Clockwork Robotic Farm. Okay, I'm just going to leave it going until the next time I think about it, because it's going to be better to have more of those than not. In terms of Abyss Exploration... Okay, we have to have the sawmill first, obviously, because we have to have the half-cut giant logs, which this is actually a pretty cheap building, all things considered. We're not that far off from being able to build it. We would just need to have a lot more metal, which, once the scrap metal situation gets a little bit better, is not going to be that hard for us to do. This right here, it just has a single beaver working in it because I didn't really have the resources. But we've got a decent amount of scrap metal, and we have a decent amount of coal. If we just go ahead and put 4 beavers in this, and the drill bit situation, still kind of not really being ideal. Probably can't take anybody out of this. This one already has 4 beavers in there. How many do I have in the library? 1. 1 beaver in the library. Okay. Well, we do need science. Oh, that's right. Grapes. Grapes. Well, John Steinbeck's not here to help, so let's go ahead and get some more planted in this spot. This is why I did keep this space open, to have more grapes. And I do think it would behoove us to plant additional grapes in here. We have plenty of dynamite with which to do so. And this already being moved is a big help. Getting poison water coming through here, killing off some of the grapes every single time is definitely not an ideal scenario. But I think overall, things are going to be fine for us to just take a little bit of this out. Not all the way up, because terrain height does have a pretty significant benefit for pollution control. But enough of it. Enough of it. That's going to work out nicely there. We did have this storage added, which is good. We got plenty of planks, and those do get used quite often. Okay, so this is pumped dry. Thank you for your service. Goodbye. Get that out of here, and let them go right back to planting sunflowers. In not that one. Don't plant that there. Thank you. Until we have a clockwork farm, we're just going to keep on, you know, doing what we have to do. How are we looking over here? Yeah, okay, this is going to take 800,000 years, isn't it? Okay, the Masters of Metallurgy is still here. I don't know if that is forced import or not. I cannot imagine it is, but it should just come in automatically. So that is under... What's that? Aha! Well, there you go. I'm glad I checked, because I would have been like, why isn't that going in there? But it's fine. 718. How are we looking over here? This is really going to help us out when this is finished. 695. Okay. Could definitely be worse. Frothy. Okay, everything over here is looking alright. Not looking, you know, not looking great, but not too many things to be unhappy about with regard to that. Alright, so let me take a look at my notes here. And we've discussed just about all of this. We haven't fixed everything, but we have discussed just about everything I wanted to get to. And now I guess we're just going to need to... Oh, there's one thing. There's one thing I forgot. Someone left a comment saying I took out a tooth grindstone when I expanded this and I did not replace it. So let's check and see. Just to make sure. I do see one of them. But that is over here in the Downriver District. The main district does not have one. Except now I'm not sure. Okay, there's a need for one up here. All right. So at the very least, I can do these beavers of kindness and pop one of those up there so it can be used, even if they have to go all the way across the map. This forester... this is one of the deprioritized buildings. Well, that's probably fine, honestly, for right now. How are we looking here? 767. Those are about to be retired from passenger service for the most part. Yeah, I think, we've made some really nice progress today. And if I were in a slightly better position with the metal fasteners, I'd start building these dams here, but I know this building requires them. And I just lied through my teeth. This does not require a single metal fastener. Okay. Well, I'd like to avoid doing that, so let's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, no, I can make this look a little bit nicer. Let's do primitive, just like that. I know nobody cares. It's fine. So what we'll have to do is make sure that this target depth does not increase past what the dams will hold. So let's change that to, let's do 1.55. So I'll give that thing a little bit of a break for a period of time. And then this will be here. Now, I don't think I'm going to have a terrain block on this side because of the dam height thing. This will never be tall enough for this to be a problem. But again, the reason for the terrain blocks is so that I can put levees on the side of them and at least slightly reduce the amount of poison being transited across it. How's this going? Okay. Decent progress. Build is at 40%. Shouldn't be too upset about that. Let's hit B for boom. Now we have some extra space over here. The berry situation is, it's okay. Could probably be a little bit better. That's what I will do, though, because we do have the GMO lab. And I can't grow grapes in that, as far as I know. Let me check before I make myself look stupid again. There is no grape recipe. So, I just zoomed right past this. I'm going to take those blueberries out. I'm going to replant them here. And then this is all going to be grapes for the time being. Just because we need to have more grapes. And now food's looking a little dangerous here. It's at 6,500. Again, because this was just an absolute disaster. These beavers are all broken. They all have broken teeth, huh? Alright, well maybe I severely misjudged. Well, that's not a maybe. I severely misjudged the need for those. Where can I... Okay, right here, right now, etc. That would be probably not a bad thing to... Oh, they haven't even finished the first one yet. Alright, whatever. It's fine. I did that to myself by placing this giant thing of dirt here. But it's very close. It is very close to being finished, which is exciting news. How are we looking here? 718. They can't reach that, so I will have to give them a little bit more access there. Now they can. Still going to take a long time to actually build this, but we're making nice progress, and that's what matters. Those are all marked for cutting. Those are all marked for cutting. This is fine. I do want to do diversion here. And see, this is where the bad tide thing actually would make a lot of sense to have automated if the diversion is in this exact area here where it doesn't take half of a day to flush all the bad water out. So we'll have to decide if that's going to be something we want to do, because we are still benefiting very heavily from having bad water come through here, and down here for power generation purposes. But once we have the nuclear stuff taken care of, we're not going to need to worry about water power anymore. But of course, that all has to just take time. I'm really happy about this, though. This is cool. I'm glad that worked. Let's now very carefully demolish the rest of this land that we don't need to have up here. And make the best possible use of what we have access to. I'm going to take this out eventually, too. But I will need to have another place for the clay pots to go. Or I can just build another cooking tent that will use them. This is making pumpkin chips, except there's nobody working here, but it can function without them, as long as it is supplied appropriately. And it looks like it is, so... no, it needs 7 more pumpkins. We also need to plant more pumpkins, I know. But that's something that can easily go up here after we start mechanically producing the sunflowers with the clockwork hydroponic farm. Alright, so now all those beavers with broken teeth can go unbreak their teeth by grinding. That is just a horrible thing to try and imagine. I'm not going to set this off yet because somebody might get exploded, and we don't want that to happen now, do we? That sounded menacing when it wasn't supposed to. 718. How's this looking? Okay, nice progress here. Clay obviously being an issue, but we do have it. It just has to be imported. And we do have these clay pits that can be on pause. Let's do that. Yeah, that's fine, because I have these hauling jobs deprioritized anyway. So now we can help that process be what it has to be. Making some nice progress on the explosives here. In due time. In due time. But this is really, really, really going to help. Because this already has access to these because of the staircase here once this is removed. That all of this will be very, very valuable, very nice space. So we'll leave them alone. Come back and check on this. Yep, clay's going a little bit faster. Planks shouldn't be too big of a deal. They just have to import them across the district lines and then move on from that. But this is going to draw 500 HP. That's something we haven't really discussed, is power lately. And while right now this shows that we have the surplus, it's not always going to be the case. And I still have this mechanized water pump paused. Well, I'm going to keep it paused because, well, our storage is basically full. So we haven't really needed to worry about it yet. Yeah, there's a few of these that aren't quite finished, so we'll leave that alone for a little bit more. 718, this is deprioritized. That's fine. How are we looking here? This has to be close. Oh, it is. It is. It's at 94%. So as soon as that's done, I can get away with doing that. We just wait. And that should really, really help a whole lot. Again, this is still making it bad, but it won't be like that forever. We'll send somebody up here and start demolishing these. And there we go. As soon as that levee is in place, which, wow, that's going fast, we should see a non-zero number of these tiles become clean again. That'll be tremendously helpful. Just need the logs. I guess that means this levee also gets to go away. So that's going to be helpful. I am very curious to see just how much of this becomes clean again. So I guess we'll just sit here and watch this for a little bit. Can't take them that long to get it finished, one would think. I guess I can click on it so we find out exactly how much. Yeah, just waiting on logs. But they're bringing those in pretty quick. Other stuff I wanted to take care of today, assuming we get the high temperature foundry operating, is to really, really kick metal block production into high gear, because that's going to be a very important thing. That'll just be moving beavers around, slowly increasing beaver capacity, population, a little bit at a time, and then scaling up our production of methane as much as we can as well. Although we do have a pretty decent amount of it stored up now, that is going to become a necessary component of some of these other recipes that we will have to give due time for. 5 more logs is all we need. I don't know if they're going to continue bringing this down here or not. Okay, 1 log. Anybody else? Because I also want to reduce the working hours just a touch. Maybe go down to 16, see if that increases the well-being at all. Because every little bit matters, and it's going to be a while before we can get this up any higher than it already is. Well, we do have gold dust. We have 79, so that would allow us to... well, if we had 50 metal to spend on it to build some of these like pointer statues and stuff. 4 more logs. Let's go. Bring me 4 logs and finish this thing, and then I really, really hope this does a significant impact, or I'm going to look a little bit dumb today, but that's fine. 2 more logs. Who's bringing them in? Who's bringing them in? Who's going to be the man of the hour? And done. All right, now let's watch those tendrils disappear. Hey, and there's a couple of them have already gone away. Only a couple, huh? Okay, well, I do see some getting planted there. Any more of this? Any more of this going? Or is that just going to stay like that? Well, we did get like 4 or 5 from here. And we got a couple here. I guess... yeah, I guess that's good enough. So now we're going to find out in a day or two whether we're going to have a drought or a bad tide next, but I think it's not going to be too big of an ask for us to send a beaver up here during that time, and at the very least remove this bit of stuff here. The only reason I can't have a thing here is because it has to attach to a block, and this block is currently too tall. So that'll be something we have to keep in account here. Okay, clay still an issue. Metal blocks obviously still an issue. Planks just about done. I think it's realistic for us to have this finished today. I know we're at about 51 minutes according to my OBS thing right there. Clay being brought in. Still, we've got still 718 dirt. I know it's deprioritized, but okay. Okay, making progress on that one. Not this one quite yet, but that's encouraging. As soon as this terrain block is done, then I guess I can put the rest of them in. We'll just have to let it be what it's going to be. Okay, I've got a little bit more in the way of grapes I can plant here. And then I'm going to have to make a choice pretty soon about whether I want to put another giant buried tank here, or if I want to try and put one over in this area. These are all set up, ready to go. Because they do require a 5x4 space, including the supports. And this right here is 4. This would be 5 if I were to remove these, or I can turn it sideways and get my 4 there. I think it probably is going to make the most sense to just do this and have the entrance to the tank be here. That, in my opinion, is going to be the best way to do it, because that's going to preserve these areas closest to the tree nursery for purposes of the tree nursery, and this only takes up 6 spaces for the explosion hole, and then another that for everything else. But we'll get there. Remember, it's ugly, but it works, and that means something. These ready to be detonated. I really hope nobody walks on this. Let's take this path off. Alright, here goes nothing. Alright, that is so much better. Let's immediately plant these as sunflowers, so we can take full advantage of this space. And I know these guys can still reach all of this. Tremendously helpful. Really, really, really good stuff. I maybe could have gotten away with using this corner overhang walkway to make something here, but I think this is fine, and it's still a huge upgrade. We can be very happy about that. Okay, we need a little over 200 clay, a little under 50 metal blocks, and that's going to get us all complete, ready to go. I have 30 metal blocks. I suppose it's probably about time to increase our population working in these factories. I do have 5 empty beds. I've got 38 vacancies, 33 incapacitated, and our amount of buildings that don't have to have a worker, I know for a fact, is not going to make this 38 vacancy number a problem. So let's just go straight up to 8 there. Straight up to 8 there. It's going to take them away from maybe a little bit of the hauling, but we're going to be all right. We got 2 there. We got 10 there. And okay, nobody there. So maybe not quite. Maybe not quite. Injuries. That is... Oh, why can't I remember? That's this one. With the half-fermented sake. They don't have enough because they don't have enough rice. I've got it fermenting. We're just maybe outpacing supply just a touch. Need to grow more rice. But hey, that's what the clockwork hydroponic farms are for. And I got 3100 science, which is very good news, because that means I can research the assembly line and start making robot parts. In terms of the actual components to build this, you know, everything looks pretty fine. This does require 300 HP, so it will have to be built near power. But we have a couple options for that. We have this right here, generating over 450 additional power that we are not currently using. And this lotus flower storage, how big is this again? Okay, so that's 4x3. 4x3 with the power input on the top right. You know what? I can do this here. And it wouldn't be that stupid. Let's just, I got ladders. I guess it's not that big of a deal. I'm just going to take this out, and then I have to blast, like, one thing down there. Just make sure the depth of this is... Oh, that's right. That is actually 4 blocks deep. It's going to require 4 blocks. What is that? For everything, or just the entrance can go here? I think this will work as long as I can go underneath that assembly line thing. And I'm not gonna even bother with this. I got better stuff to do. This also helps us get some materials back. So that'll go there, that'll go there. I just need to have these 2 removed. I know I'm making ugly things. It's fine. It's the way it goes. Lotus flower storage goes away. Oh, this is already on platforms. Okay. And we have a drought approaching and proms tomorrow. Okay, so this is never going to get used because we already have way too much. So let's instead take that out. This is going to basically always be flowing. Because I'm going to put on top of this a medium warehouse for lotus flowers. And that will help solve a lot of our problems. This ladder here is already in place. That's going to become a regular platform. And that will give me the space to build stuff here. I already have this ready to go. And then, provided I have not made a horrible mistake, and that this has to be built on top of the ground only, I believe all I have to do is put in some platforms here. And then I can erect that directly on top, and that's not working because why? Is that because I have this path here? I'm going to have to hide the UI. Is that on the same level? I actually can't see. It looks like... Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay. So, now the new question is... Can the beavers put something here? I can move this 1 block over. That's probably fine. Let's... Oh, the quadruple dynamite costs the same as the triple. You already know. Now, it says it's too far from a district. I think that's because this is just regular wooden stairs. If I instead build spiral stairs, then that should make it possible. Too far from a district can... Ah! Oh, I could have used the stairs. I just... Oh, that's the district crossing, isn't it? Okay. Alright, well that would cause a lot of other problems if I did this any other way. So let's flip that. Let's do that. Do that. Oh, I'm so glad I hit that mute button in time. This would have been absolutely just atomic levels of noise pollution in the microphone. Alright. They haven't managed to finish this yet. That's good because I wanted to see that. Less than 100 clay and 35 metal blocks remains. Okay. And we also have a drought. If it's a long enough drought, then I will attempt to get this replaced. Paper storage is going to have to move, but I think overall that's going to be a smart thing for us to do. Still haven't finished this, huh? Well, they did finish that, and they did finish that, and this is deprioritized. I guess that's fine. This one's already done, but I want to be able to get up there, and now, oh, we're coming up on an hour. Coming up on an hour, folks. Might end up having to do some of this next episode. But what I can do now is get my power in place. I know this is ugly. I'm sorry, mostly. But I... Oh, why are they... Alright, that's fine. I don't have any contaminated beavers right now. Okay, can I... Yeah, I will... I'll just leave this T-intersection here. I think that's going to be the easiest way to handle this. That will go there. I'm not doing a high power shaft here because this does have to rotate somewhere. But if this can just get blasted here. Beaver boom. Look at that. Don't you just love to see it? That will be a double. And I know at some point I'm probably going to want to get back up here again, but it's not going to be that big of a deal to do that. You just have to be able to make the best use of our resources that we possibly can. Keep in mind that this is set to go up at the start of a drought, but not the end. I am going to have to monitor that. This one is also set to go up at the start of a drought, not the end, and this one we don't have to worry about for a drought. So all of that should be taken care of. Should not be that big of a deal. We just have to, you know, stay informed of what's happening here. Food, I think, is still kind of lagging behind, unfortunately. I'm not really sure why, though, because everything that was killed down here we have excess of. Well, with the exception of the sunflower seeds. But we do have plenty of sunflower oil. Yeah, see, that's fine. Okay, cabbages are a little low. I was mistaken because I saw that we had a non-zero number of cabbages. Okay, less than 50 clay and less than 30 metal blocks. This is ready to get exploded. Which means we are just about in time to put in one of these guys in the correct place that it's supposed to go, which is a big win for everyone involved. And that means I can go all the way out to this block with some grapes. That's very grape news. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Alright, now that everyone has unsubscribed and disliked the video, we can continue. That is going to be exploded. This is going to be deleted. I'm going to leave those in place until I have to get rid of them. This single thing gone here. And then, as soon as that's exploded, I'll take care of my other stuff here. I guess I have to take this one out too. To fit everything in place. I also don't need the stairs to do that, so I can go away there, and then I think I'm going to have a single additional platform here. Drought's about to start, and we're going to find out just how long that puppy's going to be. This could be a good place to stop today's episode. We'll see. We will certainly see. So this is going to be butting up basically right against the district corner here, which... and I guess is fine, but we will see. Somehow I thought this was a lot closer. Okay, they just didn't finish building it. Well, all we can do is wait. Just let them finish it. And then we'll see where we're going from here. But how long is that drought going to be? I see 5 days. 5 days is probably not going to be enough time to take care of what I want to do up here, but there's never going to be a better time than right now, because we can't be sure that we're going to have another drought the next cycle. It could be bad tides. It could be 5 cycles of bad tides in a row. So, in order for us to place a large water wheel here, what we will need to do is either remove this, put a watertight building in, or... and this is what I had tried to do before and was unsuccessful. Find a block that is solid enough to attach a skewer overhang platform to. And these do, of course, have to be watertight buildings. So, I guess if we really wanted to just be kind of dumb about it, I could put a tall and narrow lodge in place of this paper warehouse. And then from that, put a skewer platform, and then that would allow me to put a large water wheel. But that wouldn't solve the problem of having to connect these together. So it's still, I think, going to be a better option for us to just put a regular building here. Because then from that, I can actually, you know, route some power here and all that jazz. I cannot, unfortunately, put a building here and here because I have to have doorway access. And that is not going to play nice with how this is set up. So power is probably going to have to be routed on the top of this, which is why I left that, and then come in through here. But we got options. Let's remove that. We're just going to go ahead and commit. Long, tiny warehouse full of paper is now the long, not existent warehouse full of nothing. Paper storage is going to need to exist over here, and I don't currently plan on having another paper mill, so let's pop that right there and fill it with paper. And as for what goes here, it's going to most likely need to be a normal house, which at this point is not going to be that big of a deal. Just need these guys to come in and take care of this so this can be in place before the water comes back, or else that's going to be a really bad time. I also don't want to miss them finishing this, which it looks like we still need 20 metal blocks. And those are all running off of the power from the gravity batteries, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But right here, if I build a 2-block tall building, like, for example, the triple watertight lodge that employs 5 beavers as haulers, because you know we can never have enough of those, then I think that is going to be a good enough solution for what we're trying to do. So, since we're there, let's pop this in. Actually, this doesn't need to... Okay, it doesn't matter. We'll just get these built one piece at a time. I don't think we're going to need more than 2 of these large water wheels up here, nor would they fit with the current configuration of things. But this is going to be a big step. It's going to be an absolutely essential one for having better access to stuff. Having more hauler beavers, because you know that's important. And then being able to do everything that we need to be doing. That is also going to mean that we have to get rid of this spiral staircase, but it can be easily replaced with something else without too much weeping or gnashing of teeth. And I don't think they can do this from below either, so we are going to have this one finished first. Okay, good. That still says 20. I have 13, so I guess that's okay for right now. Whatever slow process we have taken care of that. Okay, this is ready to get exploded. And now I need to find out if this will fit. Okay, good. I was going to be quite upset, but before we put that in, let's put in a power shaft here while we can still access these tiles. I don't anticipate us having to put anything else in. We can always redo it when the time comes, but getting this put in place is going to be very essential first, and then we'll put that other building in and start making robot parts, and that'll get us a nice head start for next episode. I don't know why I unsped this up. This is already in place. The danger has passed. So just bring me this thing here, and then that can go there. But before we hook everything else up, we are going to have the power wheel itself. Water wheel, not power wheel. It's a separate thing. Path. There we go. And that's going to fit right there. I can and will leave this as a T intersection. In the event we end up doing more with this in the future, we do have that option. And we can probably, depending on... Actually, let's find out. Because I have the hanging skewer overhead platform that goes in between stuff. I could put this here. I could put this here. Can I put this in the middle between... Or is that... Oh, no, that goes... Wait, what? Oh, okay, it hangs below. I thought for sure there was one of these that would go in between. Like a bridge. Ah, that's the bridge. Can be placed between non-watertight buildings. Well... So maybe this hasn't been something I should spend time worrying about. Alright, we'll just leave it alone. But I do need them to actually build all of this. So I guess I should probably prioritize that. Get that done first. Then this can just be a regular... I realize I could have just knit like that, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. It is what it is. This is not yet accessible by path. I realize it is a building that will be used as a dam, so it will need to be accessible, but, you know, one thing at a time. This has to be popped in. How are we looking over here? Good. Those are in place, which means it is time for the assembly line. And once that is finished, it will have to have a path there. Not there. Get out of here. And this is already set to make robot parts. The recipe for which is metal, gears, and planks. Not Metal Gears. That's a completely separate video game. We will need to have some storage for that. But I guess I need to figure out what goes... Okay, so that holds gears and robot parts. I'm just going to, for right now, make a storage for robot parts because, well, we need to have a storage for robot parts. And they can just deal with everything else. But this should be very, very accessible for us. How are we looking here? Come on, 16 more metal blocks. Well, so maybe that won't be finished this episode, which would be a big shame, but is what it is, I suppose. Alright, so those two straight power shafts there will get this connected, and that's going to make a whole lot more power, which is going to be fantastic. Very, very helpful. We've already gotten our paper moved back over there, so that is good. And they still haven't finished this because they're still building these primitive dams. Oh, I guess that's fine. I probably should have, you know, held off on this until they were actually finished with all this mess, but it's fine. It's fine. We still have dirt. We still have, somehow, extra drill bits. Now this episode's starting to get long, so we're going to have to start wrapping this up real quick. I guess at the start of Cycle 51 would be a good time to do that. Because now this is approaching completion. We just need more logs, which this district is surprisingly low on. I did not think that was going to be an issue. Did they finish this? They did, and it is partially full. Now we have almost 20,000 water storage if you count the buildings that pump water. And we got grapes, except they're currently dry, but that's the way it goes. I have 64 dynamite. Oh boy, you know what that means. It means I can pop in all of this, with the exception of the supports for that thing, as triples. And I can pop in all of those as doubles. I can pop in all of these as singles, which we will detonate at the most opportune time. Cool. Really, really, really great stuff today, even if we're not, you know, finished yet. And those 14 metal blocks are going to haunt me. Let's go ahead and do our end of episode stuff now, while we're waiting for the time to pass. I really appreciate you guys watching these videos, giving some good advice, asking questions, making me think about stuff I hadn't been thinking about for a little bit of time, which is how we solve most of our problems. Beard boosters make it all possible, and genuinely are a huge majority of the reason why I'm able to do videos. Not every day anymore, but 5-6 days a week. Those folks really do make a huge difference supporting me, supporting the channel, and keeping it sponsor-free so that we can just enjoy playing games and having a good time with each other. That's very important to me, and I hope to continue that as long as I can. So, now I guess all we have to do is just wait for the beginning of Cycle 51. We have 1.7 days. I really want to see if I can get that robotics thing finished by that point. And it looks like it is, but it doesn't have any power, so I guess they could just start stocking supplies. And, of course, the metal blocks that we have to use to build the thing are also going into this. So maybe let's keep this paused so they can move those metal blocks over to here. Because I only need 13. I only need 13, and I have 23. All we have to do is get them to bring that in here, and I do see some metal blocks being moved around. So I suppose that's fine. We got 89 out of 100. Let's see if we can fill our time with anything else. Are they coming up here to put another piece down? I have an opportunity to just detonate this now. Good. It'll give me a little bit more space with which to plant grapes when the time arrives. Just doing it piecemeal is probably going to be a little bit more effective than waiting, just so we can get the... Because they take a long time to grow. It's 13 days to grow the vine, and then 5 days to grow the grapes. All right, come on, 10 metal blocks. Can you give me 10 metal blocks in 1.2 days? The answer is probably no. But it's not going to stop me from trying. Absolutely not going to stop me from trying. And I know it's already the only thing that's being built actively. But clicking the little super high priority button is a very essential psychological need. 9 blocks. 9 blocks. Oh, they took all the gears out of this. Of course they did. Well, it is what it is. 3,900 science, so that's looking good. I'm going to change this over to the Clockwork Robotic Controller recipe, which is very exciting because that's going to allow us to build the stuff that we are going to make with the assembly line into Clockwork Hydroponic Farms. And the first of those is almost certainly going to be sunflowers. But unlike the Update 5 version of this mod, we have to have the mega platforms built separately using a different recipe. And that is, I believe, giant log bridge is under this. Yeah, mega platforms. Boy, are these expensive. Metal rings need to snap on to giant pillars. So when you click on this, you see that it is just the platform, and we do have to have the giant pillars. Those, fortunately, are pretty cheap. Well, relatively. They're just one of these giant logs and some planks. And there's different heights, so you can have different stuff as you choose. All right, come on. Oh, 5 metal blocks. Come on, man. I know you can get this finished before the end of the video. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I need to see some hustle here. I need to see these builder beavers working as hard as they possibly can. B for boom. Let's move that, and that gets turned into a double. They're getting close, folks. They're getting really close. Really, really, really close. This is, of course, more grapes. Just need that one. Pop that there. And we have 14,000 water at the end of a... Well, it's not a super long drought, but at the end of a drought nonetheless. Oh, three metal blocks. Come on. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I don't want to end the episode until these are in. 0.1 days. 0.1 days. We're getting so close. We're getting so close. I see 2 metal blocks in this district, and I see 29 overall. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. All right, cycle 51. Come on, cycle 51. Where are my beavers? I see someone carrying something that may or may not be metal. Where are you going? Where are you going? Are you coming through here? There you go. Good job. That's 99. That's 99. I need one more. One more metal block. Who's got it? Who's got it? Will I even click on the right building? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. One single measly metal block. Someone's got to have it. Someone's got to have it. Oh my god, just end the episode already. Yes, I know, but please. Grant me this one wish. Then I'll probably ask for something else next episode, but... Alright, there's the 100. There's the 100. Now where's the Masters of Metallurgy? Are you really... Are you joking? Are you joking me right now? I know you can get it. I know you can get it. And I said it needed to be imported. Or did I say it was conditional? Import lacked by... Oh, come on. Seriously? I have to build a storage... Oh. I shouldn't complain. I will choose to be nice. But I should have known. I should have known this is going to be a thing. Fine. Fine. I will build a storage for a Masters of Metallurgy. Just to appease you. Because I know this is why you did it this way. Come on. Come on, scroll display. Come on, scroll display. It's the maximum priority. Finish it now. I don't want I don't want to have to wait until day 2. It's all you have to do. All you have to do is just finish this. Where's my scaffolding? There you go. There you go. Get that done. Give me my Masters of Metallurgy. Make that thing go away. This says can't get required materials. You know you have them. You know you have it. You just have to go get it. Have a little bit of, a sense of adventure in your life. Also because I am extremely impatient. We're not going to bed until you guys get this thing finished. We're absolutely not doing it. We're not doing it. Bring me my metallurgy degree. Bring it to me. I need it. Well, at least I can set these off. And now this gets to just be regular dynamite. Well, I can go ahead and turn this on because I got all of my metal blocks. So that's good. Oh, we're making such nice progress. I need this. What is that? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it's the meme, but it's just this. Come on. Come on. I gave you 24 working hours for a reason, and that's because I need this to be finished. And you've chosen to spurn me. This is not going to go well. Give me... There it is! There it is! Come on! Who are you? Duranty. I need to fix that mod so I can have the actual beard booster names on these beavers, but... Come on, man. Come on. 96, 97, 98, 99... And there we go. There we go, folks. We have a high-temperature foundry with 20 workers. We are absolutely not going to be able to maintain 20 workers here. So let's take it down to a very manageable 2. So we don't, you know, overwhelm everything else. Get that, get those numbers fixed right there. Come on. We will address the housing shortage problems next episode. This is a massive injury generator, and we will need to take that into account. But we have it done, and we have this done, and we're not technically making enough power yet, but that's because somebody forgot to lower the floodgate dam. Looks like that was just about to flood anyway, so that will help that problem along. This will help this problem along, and I did my end of episode thing like 5 minutes ago now, and now I look like an absolute buffoon. But that's fine. Because now we've accomplished a lot of major goals, and I really can't even be upset. Except now we don't have metal fasteners, but it feels very good to have this complete. It feels very good to have this complete. This is not attached to a path, really? Okay, well, that's on me. And we will, as soon as we get some planks over here, have some robot parts. And then the next thing we do, friends, is going to be this clockwork hydroponic sunflower farm. But that's truly going to be a next episode thing, so that'll be in Monday's video. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.